Hi, students, and welcome to week 8 in your Lifespan Growth and Development class. I hope that your March is off to a great start. The weather is certainly improving, and I hope it stays nice and warm. That's how I like it. I do want to point out before I get into what we're looking at this week in class, I do realize that many of the San Antonio school districts are on spring break this week. We are not. Our spring break is next week. So you do have a quiz that's due on Sunday, March 13th. I'm keeping this week light. You've been working hard and turning in some great assignments. I really enjoyed your thoughts on the bilingual discussion. You did an excellent job with your Piaget experiments. And I just also want to thank you for being so kind and understanding that my grading was a little bit slower as I recover from my eye surgery, which it's getting better. It's a slow process, but at least I can look at the computer screen without feeling like I'm gonna pass out. So that's an improvement. So thank you again, seriously, from the bottom of my heart for your patience and understanding. So as we look at this week, as I said, you do have a quiz due, but that's all I'm gonna have you do this week. I know you've been doing a lot in this class. And I know that you might also have kids at home that are off for spring break and so forth. So this week we are covering chapter 8, which is over middle childhood, specifically looking at the psychosocial development side of things. So last week we studied body and mind for the same age range. And that chapter really discussed a lot about what was going on in school and with learning disabilities and assessments and special education and so forth. So that mind piece of it was the bulk of last week's chapter. This week, we're taking a deep dive in the social world for these 7 to 11-year-olds and looking at things like family dynamics. What is it like to be in a two-parent traditional household versus maybe with extended family versus a divorced family? Single parent, all of those types of things are looked at in this chapter. Also, for the first time, we really deep dive into the idea of peer group. So in early childhood, we talked about peers in terms of play, parallel play, rough and tumble play. You may remember some of those terms. But in this chapter, you're really starting to understand what we call kid culture and how the peer group becomes such an influence. And you know what we're doing is we're just setting it up for what happens during adolescence with the peer group. So take special note because you'll see that come back around again when we get into our next stage of adolescence. So I think you'll find this chapter full of points and learning objectives that you can go back and reflect on your own self and your own experiences as someone in middle childhood and hopefully apply those ideas to your own life so that the learning is deepened and you make that connection there. So have fun with this chapter this week. I won't see you next week, as I said, it's spring break, so enjoy your much deserved spring break. And the next time after this week, so of course this week goes from March 7th to March 13th, we have the following week off. That's our spring break. You won't have any classes or any assignments for SAC. And then the following week, which is March 21st through 27th, is what will be our week 9 when I'll see you back again. So as always, stay safe, take care of yourself, and if you have any questions whatsoever, never hesitate to reach out to me. Have a great week, everybody.